Jake, the snake. You're doing it again, baby. You're doing it again. So here's our updated totals, guys. And Jake Browning now officially is the #1 quarterback for the Bengals in the history of the Bengals. So, backup quarterback. Backup quarterback. Let me preface that enough. Obviously not starter, but he's the best backup quarterback. And if you guys not saw my video last week, these are all the backup quarterbacks we have here. Guys, we did exclude was Ken Anderson, who was a backup for a little bit of time. But if you're a starter for our team, I'm not going to say you a backup. Obviously, Smith is another guy we have. And I think there's one other guy I did go ahead and exclude. And again, it's mainly just because of the fact that if you were a starter and then you became a backup at one point and then became a starter again, I don't really feel like you are backup then. These are guys that were career backups. So when he came in due to injury, when he came in due to the fact that, the starting quarterback was either benched or no longer was a starter. So these are career backups. That's why, of course, a lot of the records are not many games. I mean, the most games of any of these guys is Turk, who had a total of 12 games that he played. Other than Turk, we have, 11 games, 9 games, and 6 games. So, again, keep that in mind. These guys are career backups. Now, Jake Browning, 2-1 now, which actually marks him and ties him with A.J. McCarron for the best winning percentage of any Cincinnati Bengals backup quarterback at 66.67%. Now, he does have one less touchdown than A.J. McCarron, and he does have the same amount of interceptions as A.J. McCarron. And then A.J. McCarron last week, who actually did play a couple snaps because Jake Browning went down with injury on his thumb. Well, cramps with his thumb, not with the injury. He had -1 yards. So I had to update this total and put it in there, which I know it's crazy to say that, but yeah, A.J. McCarron, because he still technically is getting stats as of last week, he had -1 yards in that game, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Now, if A.J. McCarron would have had that touchdown to T. Higgins and it wasn't called back, then A.J. McCarron right now would have 7 touchdowns, and he would be 2 touchdowns above Jake Browning. Now, I'm only ranking him above AJ based on yards. Obviously, it's 5 more yards. It's literally like neck and neck. And obviously, AJ does have more touchdowns. So, hopefully against the Vikings, where Jake Browning should be able to throw a couple touchdowns, hopefully he's able to actually get above AJ McCarron here. But again, barring no injury, knock on wood here for that there shouldn't be any AJ McCarron the rest of the year anyway, and it should be Jake Browning the rest of the year. But technically speaking, depending on your criteria, they have the same exact record. Obviously, Jake has more yards, same interceptions. Technically, AJ does have more touchdowns, which is technically the job of the quarterback to score touchdowns. And again, they have the same winning percentage. But other than that, Jake Browning does have a potential opportunity here to, of course, like I said before, really take it over as the most touchdowns in Cincinnati Bengals history as backup quarterback. He can have the most touchdowns. Keep in mind, this is going back, this list here, till 1967. Yeah, I went through the whole entire list of backup quarterbacks to see how good can Jake Browning truly be here. Now, again, 4 games left, right? In order for him to get the most touchdowns as a backup quarterback, he's going to need at least 9, which would put him around 2.5 per game. So one game he's going to have 3, and the rest he can have 2. So far, that looks like that could be potentially, he could tie that. I don't know if he's going to beat that, to be honest. I could see him having 2 touchdowns, throughout the rest of this year. Every single game. Obviously, the Chiefs game could be more because the Chiefs put up a lot of points against us, and if it becomes a shootout, we're going to potentially have to go a shootout with them. And that means Jake Browning could put up maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game. It's very possible. When it comes to interceptions, hopefully he gets no more this year, period, because right now he is tied with A.J. McCarron, and he is tied with Jeff Driscoll and Jay here for the least amount of interceptions in Bengals backup quarterback history outside of Paul Justin, who currently has 0. So, he's kind of tied with everyone but Paul Justin, because Paul Justin started 3 games, 91 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he's never won a game. So, technically speaking, he is the best when it comes to not throwing interceptions. He's played 3 games, though. Ironically enough, he started as many games as AJ did and as Jake Browning did. He just never really did anything with those 3 games. Beside the point, so he can, if he has no more interception this year, AJ McCarron's probably not going to get another career snap, or at least not this year. So he's not going to throw another interception, which means he could, kind of tie with that position there. And again, for passing yards, he's not going to beat Turk. I mean, 3,800 yards is almost impossible. How many yards would he need? Let me check this out. So currently, he would need about, let's say 3,800. Let's round it up to 3,800. He would need around 719 yards per game to beat Turk. He gets that. If he gets that, they got to give him the MVP award and the trophy before the season ends. But yeah, he's not going to beat Turk. Again, one more win, and he's going to have the best winning percentage of any backup quarterback in Bengals history, which is nice. That's another thing, which again, like I said, depending on how Saturday goes, should be fine, should be okay with everything, being considered. But still, it's going to be interesting to see how much more stats he can put up, because at this point, the sky's the limit for this guy, right? The sky is the limit for Jake Browning. Nothing is holding him back. Anything he does the rest of this year is just adding icing on the cake for him being the best backup quarterback in Bengals history. So it doesn't matter if he goes out there and puts up, let's say, 4 touchdowns the rest of the season, 1 touchdown per game. He's still going to have, if he puts up 4 touchdowns, he's still going to have the, 4th most touchdowns of any Bengals backup quarterback in history. If he puts up, 600 more yards, he's still going to now come in as, probably the 3rd or 4th best. Actually, wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he'd be the 4th most passing yards in Bengals history. And again, no matter what, his winning percentage, unless he literally loses out, he's going to probably have the best. I mean, you got to think, he's probably going to beat the Vikings. He'll beat the Steelers. Those are 2 wins. That's 4-1 right there. Unless he loses 7 games, he should be absolutely fine. Actually, let me do the math there. So if he wins, let's say, for example, 4-1, but then he loses the Chiefs game and he loses the Browns game, he would have he would literally have the same exact, 4-3, a 57.14. He would literally be the 4th best winning percentage of any quarterback. So if he wins, let's see what happens if he wins out. Well, not wins out, but obviously if he wins out, he'll have a... Actually, let's see. If he wins out, right, he'll be 6-1. What's his winning percentage there? 85.71. Let's say he wins against the Vikings, the Steelers, and the Browns. So he wins 3, he loses 1. That would put him at 2 losses, and that would put him at 5 wins. And that would put him at, so if he loses the Chiefs game but wins every other one, he'll be at 71.43%, which again, best winning percentage of any backup quarterback in Bengals history. So I'm excited for him, man. I'm excited to see him continue this grind, continue this greatness, and I can't wait to, go back to the end of the season, kind of reflect on these numbers and be like, wow, that's my boy Jake the Snake. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.